Hi, I'm David King. This is the CollabCast. It's the day after the 4th of July, and we're really lucky to have Jordan McClendon, graphic designer who's been getting a lot of attention lately for his shorts about Albany. And I mean, you're ubiquitous these days. I think I remember last year when your first short popped up, and it was like sort of astounded to see someone putting this much energy into something about Albany, and I knew, people were going to love it, and I was just really sort of enthused to see the reaction. And now you're about, more than a year into this, and it's pretty clear people are very into these things.
Yeah, I would say so. I think, it's, represents what a lot of people in the area, what they see every day.
Yeah.
Whether it's going to work, going to school, just walking around the neighborhood. To see that type of thing animated, I think people respond to that, and they have responded to it. And I certainly enjoy doing it. I enjoy watching it too, because I enjoy the city. I enjoy, Albany, going to the park or going downtown or going into the suburban areas. Like it's really, really nice. And I wanted to capture that, and I wanted to show people like, hey, Albany can be animated too. So.
I mean, we were talking a little bit earlier about driving past the city when you were younger and seeing the egg and thinking, and sort of the plaza and seeing that as magical or something you don't see every day. I mean, it's not like...
Yeah, it was interesting because my older brother, he played basketball a lot. So he was in the AAU league, and we'd have to travel up and down the state. And I think we were going to RPI for one of his games in high school, and we drove past the Albany skyline. And I remember being a kid, and I've been to the city plenty of times at that point, but seeing the Albany skyline, like the plaza, like the 5 buildings, and the egg, I'm like, what is this place? And I was just filled with I've never been to Albany, and just seeing that skyline, I was just blown away by it. Just as a kid, I remember just my face pushed against the window, just looking at it, and here I am now. I ended up going to school here and living here, and it's a really great place to be, and I have a lot of pride in this place.
One of the things that struck me about your story is that you went to college for graphic design, and you realized that you wanted to. If you wanted to make money doing it, you need to get a job right away, one way or the other. But you've got a real job to support yourself, and you start a family and all, but you've been able to do the things you want to do with it, and you're also getting attention for your work outside of your 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And it seems like having that stability has enabled you to create what you want and work on your own brand.
Yeah. Oh, it certainly has. One thing helps the other. So, as you said, the 9 to 5 job, it really helps just pay the bills, and I'm fortunate enough that my 9 to 5 is what I want to do in my profession. But it gives me more room to pursue some of the things I want to learn myself, doing these 3D animations, and doing animation in general. That helps that. And, I get to a certain point where, I build enough of my own material and I show it to people, and that actually leads to more professional work and income.
Yeah.
So it's this constant back and forth dance between the two.
How do you find the time? I mean, I know you've told me that this new one is taking a little bit more piecemeal because of the different gigs you're getting. But
yeah, it's, time nowadays, I have a 19-month-old. And, I want to spend every second with my family, when I can. But I try to squeeze in an hour or two here, late at night, whenever I can, to work on some of my own stuff. And the thing is, if I'm not doing contract work, or if I'm not working for a client, that's what I'll do, because I figure if I'm not working for somebody, I'll work for myself and make my own work better.
Yeah.
Learn as much as I can. And if it's beneficial, then monetarily, that's great, but in the end, I learn more, and I can approach a professional setting with more tools.
And you have done, people have probably seen you on a lot of than television shows lately. You've been on just about everything. How many shows do you think you featured on WTN and WNYT, WMHT?
So I think it's about three stations and 4 different shows. So everyone's been really supportive and just they like the idea of stuff being set in Albany, and they react to it, and they react to other people's reactions on it. So I post something on Facebook maybe once a month. Usually it's about a picture of my child or whatever. So I figured I'd start posting these animations on there. Why not? And people responded well, and I think I got some of these news stations just got a whiff of it, and they decided to come to my house and kind of figure out what was going on here. So,
and some of your work you can also see or could have seen on television because you did some graphic design for commercials or animation. Is any of that currently running? Could people
you can see. So I worked for Taft while I was still in school, and I started off as just a regular graphic designer and doing web maintenance for them. But then I showed them I can animate, I can do motion graphics, and they gave me a spot. Very, very gracious to do that. And I made a first commercial back in 2013, and they were like, okay, well, let's just keep doing it. So they kept giving me campaigns, doing 12 spots for a campaign, and I was making commercials out of college. That was amazing to me. I'd go with my girlfriend then, but my wife now. We go to a bar and we'd see a Taft commercial, and then I'm like, oh, that's my stuff up there. So it was pretty cool. I think you can find that stuff in archives or on YouTube or what have you. And
for those who want to watch the video who haven't yet, besides from your Facebook, we'll share it on our site, but is there a preferred method you have for folks to take it in? Is it a way that benefits you to watch it, or?
I think just watching it is beneficial. So you can find it on Facebook, or you can go on CBS 6 or NBC, and you can see that stuff. This weekend I have on Sunday at 5. Right. I have my latest animated short is going to be up on that show, so you can catch it then
on TV film.
Yeah, TV film, WMHT. Yep.
Which is really cool because you're, when we talked about this a bit, but you're sort of connected to this community of filmmakers, and you had mentioned to me that you have some interest in working in film. You'd like to.
Yeah, I think as much as I can, using what I have to bring to the table, and apply it to film if I can. That's like a dream of mine, and I think at this point, if it happens, it happens. But right now, I'm just focused on just getting better because I have so much room to improve on animation, improve on timing. So we talked about I don't have time for anything, and if I was faster, I could pump these out a lot quicker.
Yeah.
So it's just improving, and then just seeing where I am as I improve, I guess.
Given that we're both residents of Albany, this is sort of silly, but what's your perfect day in Albany? What's your if you're thinking about all the things you love about Albany, what is a good Sunday morning for you in Albany? Or
Sunday morning, waking up with my son and my wife and going for her. We have this cool stroller that we can push when we're running, and just doing that in the morning. Not too hot, not like how it is today. This is crazy. But starting off a morning, a nice day, and then just hanging out with the family, and then maybe later on at night, having a drink with my wife out on the patio. That's nothing too extravagant, but I love that kind of thing.
And what are your favorite Albany spots at this point? What's your touchstone sort of?
One of our favorite spots is the Fountain on New Scotland Avenue, Fountain Pizza. It's such a great environment there, and it's like a bar and a diner mixed together. They play jazz. The the second weekend of every month, and it's such a great place to just hang out or party. If you want to go there like late at night and get hammered, you can go there and you don't have to worry about anything. It's a walking distance from where we live.
Yeah, I have to mind myself there because certain hours Albany politicos show up, and I don't want to get into the political discussion with the family, but I've been caught in them before. So, and that is a classic sort of Albany staple for politicians and everyone else. But it's interesting, the sort of vibe you get there.
Certainly.
And do you have plans to send your child to school in Albany? I mean, do you think that this is going to be
I don't know. That just doesn't even exist right now.
Gotcha.
That's a fairy tale. The idea that he's a baby and we're gonna that's just gonna last forever as far as we're concerned.
Yeah, I thought so too. It turns out they grow up and get big and tell you what to do and stuff at 5. But yeah. And so, would you, if folks want to reach out to you about work or partnering on something, is there a good way to do that?
Yeah, just find me on Facebook. My email, my website are up there. They make it so easy for us.
Yeah, it's weird.
You know what I mean, just go on Facebook. You'll find my email, my contact info, and pretty much that.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. It's good to have you.
Yeah, definitely.